Preparing. I feel so like professional when we're going live on YouTube. The thing. Preparing.
There should be a dance. To go live on YouTube dance.
Beware, that may end up on TikTok.
Exactly.
Well, officially, hello, everybody, and welcome to our first extended team meeting for the Age of Conversation Summit. I'm thrilled to have the volunteers joining us here with the staff members. A few more folks are going to come in and join us. What I wanted to go through today is a little bit of what we talked about on Monday, bring you guys all up to speed, and then have each of the team leads talk a little bit about what they have been doing since Monday, getting themselves set up with the work streams. And then I also want, Lucas, I don't think you need to stay on for the entire time, but I would love it if you would give us a little bit of a tour of KikoChat so that everyone is familiar with the capabilities of it, where you might be open to making some adjustments before the September 9th events happens. And then give us a run through on that. So those of you that are my volunteers, will you just do a little wave in the camera so we can say hi to all the new people? Amazing. I cannot thank you enough for wanting to be a part of this experience. We have no idea what it's going to be yet. So thank you for being here as we mold the Play-Doh. It could be anything. It could be awful, but it won't be. It's going to be amazing. And we're thrilled that you're going to be a part of it. We've already had a ton of conversations going in the Slack channel. So if you're not on Slack yet, make sure you get in there. Lots of commentary on some of the LinkedIn posts too. And I didn't mean to offend anyone by calling us not experts, so I apologize for that. But I like to call us pioneers. We don't have to be experts in virtual events. We just need to be pioneers pushing the boundaries for other people. So thank you for participating in the conversation.
Yes. And if we ever call something a hot mess, it's a good thing in our world.
It's HAUTE, hot mess. So that's how we roll.
Fancy one.
Well, Lucas, could I get you to do a screen share and walk us through the KikoChat platform? So for those of you that weren't with us last week, I gave a little bit of an intro. I found Lucas through one of the Slack channels that I'm a part of. And he has this platform that, you know, we all love Zoom. We can do a lot of things in Zoom and it's very comfortable for us. So Kiko allows us to have this kind of wrapper so that people can choose their own breakout rooms and their own sessions that they want to be a part of, rather than when I normally use Zoom, I have to push people into breakout rooms, which is perfectly fine with 150 people, but not perfectly fine with 2,000 people. So as we try to scale what an event could be with this conversational experience in Zoom, we thought that KikoChat would be an amazing partner for this. So I will turn it over to you, Lucas.
Thank you very much, Liz. Excited to be here, excited to be part of this team. I thought the first planning call was phenomenal, very well run and organized. So I'm a software developer. My name's Lucas, north of New York City, about 20 miles. I'm also an open space facilitator. That's a type of conference where participants create the agenda on the fly that morning, and then they move themselves from room to room. So we built KikoChat for that kind of conference where people can move themselves from Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting fairly easily. So we didn't try to reinvent the wheel. We tried to connect the best-in-class video tool, which is Zoom, in our opinion, with the best-in-class tools like Google Docs, like Slack, and YouTube, and other tools. So here is a tour. I'm an engineer, so I'm not a designer. This looks like it's designed by an engineer and not a designer. So the first thing I'll say is that where we'd like to improve, if you can look at this with the design eye and say, I got an idea for how to make this look better, I'm gonna put my contact information in the chat. Please connect with me. But the fact that it is not polished does not get in the way of the people having a very deep opportunity to connect. So this was a conference that happened 2 weeks ago, and people had such a powerful experience that they keep coming back. So this event has been over for 10 days, but people keep wandering through the event space. I mean, can you imagine like people coming back into your conference hall, like wishing, oh, I wish this was still going, but that's what they're doing. So here's all these people that just keep coming time and time again. So you have some branding of what the event's about. You can put your sponsors there. Here's all the people that RSVP'd. We connect to Eventbrite. So Eventbrite is where you get a lot of the RSVPs, collect payment, and then we invite people right into the event immediately through Eventbrite.
And so for us, we're using Splash. So people are registering through Splash and then they will come to here. So maybe we could even talk about how we need to do any connections there.
Perfect. Yes, it'll be an export of names and email addresses, and then you put them into Kiko, snap your fingers, and then they all get an email, and then they can come right in.
Okay.
So on Kiko, a lot of you have jumped into this Zoom meeting through Kiko Chat, and this is one that is designed. So you've got a logo on the left. This is where the video would be, but it's turned off because the event is over. And this is where you could have a timer. I was just doing a demo so you could see the timer going down. On the right-hand side, you've got some document. In this case, it's a PDF. You can also put things like a Google Sheet for an agenda. In this case, participants were creating their own agenda topics. And I think that we'll be doing that here with the unconference format. So participants are going to see some blank spaces to add their topics. We take their topics and we put them down here. Automatically, they each get their own session space here. Some of these are hidden because they were blank. So we have the ability to hide rooms, to show rooms. And then when it's time to go into all the breakouts, you say, okay, I want to go into session 1 space A. You click on it, and then you get a new Zoom meeting over here. So we can have 100 Zoom meetings going on at the same time. People can easily jump between them. When you get into that new space, on the right-hand side, you've got notes for that space. If you are not learning or contributing in this space, you use your 2 feet to hop on over to another topic, and then
And he says 2 feet because those of you that know HD and know the unconferences, you vote with your feet. So if you're in a session that is not going the way you thought it would be or isn't the topic you thought it would be, you have every permission to pop out to another space, which in the virtual world, you don't see anybody worried about clicking the out button. In the real world, we just have to encourage people that it's okay to do that.
Great, Liz. And maybe
So one question,
Oh,
Lucas,
yes.
one of the things we discovered on Friday when we used this for the first time was some of our corporate clients weren't able to access the embedded Google Docs. So that is something for us to put on the list of things to work through.
Yes, some people cannot use Google Docs if they work at a bank or a place with high security. And so we've had events like that, and there are some workarounds. Then I think I should also show for this team here, this is what a sponsor booth can look like. So I'll click Inova Furnishings. They were the big sponsor for the event. We just put their webpage right in here. We put their Instagram feed in there.
So one of our team members had the most amazing idea for sponsor booths. Instead of doing something like that, literally, if it's like an exhibit house that wants to sponsor, it still opens the Zoom room, but it's those people in a booth that they have built in their warehouse or sitting in their office, and they're actually there in their office to chat with you. So you're going into their space, their booth.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
So you just click the green button that would be over here, and you can see them in their warehouse in that booth, and you can talk with them. And then you can have the booth open for asynchronous browsing before Zoom is live. People can come in the day before, the hour before, but when it's time to talk to the booth that is fully staffed, then Zoom is on and you can connect that way. And maybe something else to show, networking. So you click networking, and we broke it up this way. Students, emerging professionals, mid-career, senior level, mix it up. And you put any image you want here. And this is just a background for setting the tone for when you click join video. Here's some sponsors. So you get the idea of the things that are possible. I think that's a decent place to stop. Liz, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions? It's definitely going to take you getting in there and clicking around a bit and playing with it to see what's possible. But as a general overview, any questions? Yeah, Desiree.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Zoom didn't like my microphone yesterday. Okay, so I have a question. You had said they were creating their own schedules. What did you mean by that?
So that'll happen with our spontaneous think tank portion, where we will have a session in the agenda that we're going to crowdsource the conversation, and there will be 1 or 2 spontaneous sessions that come from that crowdsourcing. So we're just going to make sure that we map that in that sample agenda that's in the Google Doc. You'll see that listed as spontaneous think tank and spontaneous think tank sessions. That's
Okay.
all that is.
Oh, okay. Because I think I was confused within Kiko. He had showed the spreadsheet and they clicked. So I thought maybe it was creating their something on the side.
That's how it worked with that open space conference, what was it called? Cut Paste or whatever. It was a really cool conference. He let me go see it. But we won't be using that to create
Okay.
sessions.
Okay.
It'll
Is
be
the
a little more-
crowdsourcing done through that Google Drive document then?
We'll probably do it through Mural.
Okay. I was going to say a bunch of people all at once seems like a headache sometimes on those Google Docs. So, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the things we need to consider because Mural has worked great for up to about, kind of like Zoom, up to about 150 people. Once we get over the 1,000 mark of people crowdsourcing together, I don't know if that's even going to be feasible to consider. So we've got to think through some logistics there.
That's why we chose Google Sheets, since that had about 684 people. You had one sheet that people could look at and one that people could edit. So as long as fewer than 100 were editing, then everybody could view. Otherwise, you get over 100 people editing, some people will be kicked off. So
Oh, interesting. So it's a one in, one out kind of thing once you hit that 100 mark?
Yeah.
Huh. That's good to know. And then how many people? You said 100 concurrent Zoom sessions possible. How many per Zoom?
300 by default, and then we can get the large meeting add-on to bump up to 500 or 1,000.
Okay, so wow. Okay, so then theoretically, if we had 10 Zooms going, I'm trying math.
Love the maths.
So we could get up to 5,000 participants.
Yeah, or you can have more and more rooms is possible. And then you can also stream, just like you're doing now, out to YouTube or Facebook Workplace. Many more people can be engaging that way or more passively.
Oh my gosh, that's a great idea. So they don't have to be there. We can just create empty rooms, send them to other locations. Because I think we had some conversations around, is there a private Facebook group where a session is actually going on purely in text? Or is there a conversation only by phone where it's an Uber conference dial-in number? Or it's a Zoom where you are audio only, everyone's video off, and you can still, as a moderator, moderate kind of who's talking, but everyone else gets to be ears only.
Mm-hmm. Carrier pigeon.
I don't know about the carrier pigeon session, but I like the idea.
Sweet. She never turns down any of my ideas, by the way, guys.
Smoke signals, maybe. So amazing. Okie dokie. Thank you, Lucas. I'm going to pause for just one moment because I tend to just not give people enough time to talk. So, questions.
Gail said, thumbs up.
Thank you, Liz.
We're going to have to distinguish which Gail, because Gail and I not only have the same name, but spell it the same as too. So it's,
Yeah.
For those of you non-Gales, that almost never happens,
yeah, it's very rare.
right?
Yeah.
Well, you guys tell us the nickname you prefer, and we'll go with that from now on.
We probably have the
Hey,
same.
Liz.
I mean, most people just call me G, or my my initials go. I just, yeah. Nice.
I let go.
Right, we'll come up with something.
Yeah. Go is fine too. G is fine. Just as long as there's no other G, it's good.
Liz, I'll just listen in the background in case you need me.
Okay, sounds good, Lucas. Thank you. So I thought I would bring up the mural board that we worked on Monday, and I can resend out the link if anyone else has ideas. But just to bring the volunteers up to speed, we were starting to land on who our core audience is going to be. Obviously, the majority of us coming in here are events, hospitality, and association. So in some form or another, marketers or associations who are focused on events or hope to be focused on events. Event influencers kind of being a tertiary market. I don't think we need to necessarily target them as an audience, but maybe can bring them in as part of the conversation. We went through a little bit around observations of what's happening in the world, what people are concerned about, and then moved into principles, like what matters the most in their lives right now, in order to ideate big, crazy ideas, and then come up with things that we could experiment with at the event. I think where we didn't quite push far enough was the big crazy idea thing, because I took most of our big crazy ideas and put them down into the yes, they're possible. I really didn't see anything we couldn't pull off. So that's good and bad. You know, on the good side, we got a whole lot of ideas. On the bad side, we're not thinking far enough. We have to, our objective, one of our core objectives here is to try things that you can't try in a client event, things that you can't try because they might not work or because they're too risky, because people are scared of it. We have that opportunity to try those things. So I would love to take just a moment here and get you to think with me, maybe for 5 minutes, a few more of these big crazy ideas. So let me drop into the chat this link. Everyone can jump in.
Liz, one of the questions was for the session administrators, they'll be just working in Zoom or Kiko or both.
So you'll be in whatever you're going to administer, and that's one of our things to figure out. So if your session is going to be a Zoom session, you would be working in Zoom. You'll simply access it through Kiko because that link would live in Kiko. So you'll go in, you'll click the button, and it'll be in a Zoom. However, if you end up doing a session that's a conference call, we can decide, is that going to be an Uber conference or is it going to be a conference call using a Zoom phone number? So you're still administering it like you would a Zoom meeting where you can mute and manage people, but everyone is audio only with cameras off and they're actually dialing in. If we think of something totally separate and you're going to administer a session that's taking place only in a Slack channel or only on a Facebook group, or is there some way for us to do something where people can multitask but still be in a session without sound or eyes? I don't know. That answer the question? That's me pushing crazy ideas.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Cool. Does everybody have the, go ahead.
She said that's helpful. I said, cool.
Yeah, I'm saying that's helpful context on the administrators. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm focused on the dream ideas thing. And I love the one here that says, we want to be on the cover of a magazine. So if anyone has any connections, call me.
Also on our lifelong bucket list, still hasn't happened.
I like the idea that if conversation is king, not a single session can have PowerPoint. What do you guys think about that?
Ooh, that's good. Yes.
And by the way, go ahead. Go.
Go. Is there any way, you know, we have really great sessions and ideas, but it all seems very one-sided. You know, I'm always thinking how to keep attendees engaged and have conversations. And when there becomes like a large meeting, it's kind of hard for the people, especially like me, will speak up. What are your thoughts of how we can gauge, you know, how we can make it more interactive, like really interactive and engage in conversation through a video type channel?
Well, so let me repose the question back. Is there any reason for us to have that many people if we're going to be using Zoom? Should we be limiting the number of people in the sessions? And I know that's unheard of because every industry event is like, we want the most, we want to break the records, we want 11,000 people.
Right.
But can we say no more than 50 per Zoom so that real conversations can happen?
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm posing the question. What do you think?
No. You know what? And it's true. But there's maybe a way to like, I don't know if you are old enough to remember Romper Room, but they're like, you know, used to have the mayor and they're like, you know, and I call on so-and-so and that will be their turn to like input something. So,
or like what is the old, like we used to have the conversation stick, right? You have to pass the stick to someone. It's their turn.
Right. You know, just a thought. I know, for those diminishing my idea, but
if you can't find your unmute button, you can hold down your space bar on your computer and it will unmute you like a walkie-talkie. So feel free to use that to jump in.
If anybody can't, if the link's not working or for some reason and you need us to add it to the chat, or I can put it up for you, just put it in the chat, whatever your idea is. But we are looking for energy from you guys. We're looking for, as far as for these big ideas, is if literally somebody had a magic wand and they said, okay, what with this event, what is your dream? The biggest, and the answer will be yes. Like, what is that item? Like, don't think of what's possible. Literally think of what's seems impossible, and put it up here. So do we make so much money that we can hire everybody that ever, you know, lost their job in the entire world? That's a huge, like, wow, you know, that's a big thing. That's what we want you to be thinking, so much bigger than you ever think is possible, and push yourself there. This is like the most exciting thing ever. Come on, put them out there.
I think this is going to be our trouble spot, is that everyone is so used to planning. We're all extreme type A, let's plan an event people, that we're hung up on not making a mistake. We want it to be perfect. And I want to push us into it's okay.
Yeah, and I think that if you haven't been to one of our events, if you don't know us that well, that is like here, this is the place. We always said in our very first event, we said, this is the place to fail. Not that we're going to say, oh, let's make this thing suck or fail. That's not it. But meaning, let's try stuff. There is no, if you're scared, like, I don't know how to do that. So what? Say yes and go figure it out. And then let's figure it out together. And if you can't, say, I can't figure this out. And that's what we're all here for. So we are not looking for perfection. Perfection is going to come from how we ebb and flow when things come at us. And that's the whole spirit of our entire business. That's, why and we are what we are and how we became who we are. And so, just go crazy. You gotta let your minds go. I think that like you guys need like permission to go there. So it's granted. Yes. Like you are, you have it.
Okay, I'm going to jump in because I can't seem to put my ideas into mural.
Mhm.
This is John, and
Yeah.
I love the idea of limiting the number of people into a session because it creates that fear of missing out. And we don't really do a lot of that. And so it creates demand and people will sign up earlier, which is good. Also, I like the fact that not many people really do that. And you guys are always doing something different. So maybe this is a good way to start to differentiate.
I love that. I think putting some limits on something would be a big statement. That it's not, the bigger isn't always better, especially in sessions that are intended to be conversation. The
Yeah,
broader sessions,
people-
to me, I feel like when you have if you're trying to get the most number of people in a session, that's called a broadcast, and there's no reason for them to be live with you.
Yeah, exactly. And the smaller the room that you can make, the more interaction, more people will be engaged and you'll have greater discussions. You get over 10, 15 people and there's a lot of crickets.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. So I just experienced this today. We did an event that was 90 minutes. I hesitate calling it an event because anything 90 minutes doesn't feel like an event, but my God, it was an event. And at the end, and it was in Zoom, it was great that we're doing the thank you so much for coming and thanks for taking the poll. And we are just so thrilled that you're here. And then I click the end button and kaboom, we're all gone. And it's just me again, alone in my guest bedroom. And when you're live at an event, that music still plays a bit and you're kind of like, and it was so good to see you. And you can do the little goodbyes. How do we end an event without abruptly ending the event? And there were some comments in Slack, like, can like keep the feedback session open a little bit longer, but even so, what else can we do? We had thought about maybe we roll a video that's kind of almost an end credits, like how at the beginning of an event, you would have the countdown to when the event's going to start. Maybe at the end, there's kind of a slower countdown to when it's going to end. So it doesn't feel so abrupt. Any thoughts about that?
That's great. Well, how about going one step further and doing a little skit?
Tell me more.
I can't. That just popped in my head.
Uh-huh.
I see like an NSL skit in my head. That's a potential.
I like the end credits idea. I like the skit idea, like sort of like almost role playing, like people saying goodbye and leaving the event, so you have that feel.
But what about something like what about
Bye-bye.
something like an escape room where people have to work together to get out of the room technically? The virtual room.
That's great.
Oh my God, I love it. You can't,
Right.
you really can't leave the session.
You cannot, and Zoom will follow you everywhere you go.
The button keeps moving.
I wonder if there's a way, because I think when people are leaving a big general session, some people want to just leave and, get a breath of fresh air, but some want to connect with another attendee or connect with a stakeholder or connect with a speaker. So almost ways to kind of funnel the people who want to, ask a follow-up question to the speaker or, whoever's in that room, but then let the people who want to leave just kind of leave, but kind of creating that feeling you were just talking about when, some people just don't want to leave. They want to continue the conversation.
Yeah. So then maybe we just need to come up with what is the less awkward way of us just standing there smiling until people disappear? So what's the thing that keeps going where it doesn't feel like an Irish goodbye when you just click leave? You actually feel like, okay, it's my time to go now. Bye guys. And then you leave.
Mm-hmm.
We could,
I don't know, has anybody ever filmed their general session when everybody's leaving, that we could just leverage that. You have like a visual of people filing out.
Oh my God, I love that. I just pictured the Ferris Bueller thing at the end where he's like, it's over, go home.
Also think about a really great MC for the whole event, and then maybe during the intro, the MC's doing interviews with people, kind of spontaneous, like, you know, just pop somebody on screen and ask them some questions, and then have that same MC catching them on the way out of the session. What did you like? What didn't you like? And tell a funny joke, something like that, that kind of keeps people wanting to stay for the extra minute and hear what that MC has to say.
That's awesome. Nicole would like Richard Branson as that MC. So Gail, if you could go work on that for us, that'd be great.
She's got the hookup. Let's be real.
So when you were talking about people leaving a session, it made me think of, and I'm gonna, expose my age here, but remember The Sound of Music? When they would all leave the stage and, so long, farewell, and
yeah.
I don't know what exactly that would be, but it popped in my head.
I am not singing. No way.
Me either.
If anybody's
But maybe it doesn't have to be singing, but maybe it could be like a synchronized departure or something. I don't
Right.
know.
I like, it's the wind down video of some kind. Like in the beginning of the movie theater with the hot dog and the popcorn walking across the screen, but what's the end part? Yeah, I like that.
Like everybody leaving the train in Grand Central Station as droids just walking up the ramp into the station.
Or maybe we actually do make a roll the credits for the people that were involved in that session. So it's like, it's our team and then it's the people that were facilitating, and it's like people roll credits on an animated PowerPoint.
The credits are cool if we could find a way to then connect them. So if you want to reach out for more questions and keep that conversation going, to somehow reach out directly to who you're interested in, maybe.
Oh, that's even better.
And
That seems
when
real.
you roll the credits, don't, like when you go to the movies, like with Endgames or Marvel movies, you always wait for the teaser or an outtake at the end, so it makes you stay to the end.
Just about to say the same thing.
So some little teaser right at the end.
An Easter egg at every single session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could we do a video roll like in the planning of like mistakes that may have been made as we plan this and just roll that?
I love it. Who's going to admit
Bloopers.
We haven't made any yet.
Hot bloopers.
Hot bloopers. We got plenty of those.
I love the idea of a session crasher. I know that sounds like the most chaotic thing, but if you had like a mascot that would just pop in and be like, bah, they do something and then they move on. And so you never know. It's like when Ellen scares people.
You get that old timey like phone that someone had put in the Slack, that the session crasher's just like, I'm just here.
But like the session crasher like gives away things or something. So then you want to be crashed.
Well, and I think Gail or someone had suggested that it's a celebrity session crasher. So it's, you have these pop-ins. Can we pay someone on Cameo to pop in?
Well, and somebody who's famous for conversations, like a Barbara Walters. I mean, it could be impersonators of
Oprah
Walters, because they're the conversationalists, right? So have an Oprah, have a Geraldo Rivera. I mean, whoever else is really famous for conversations.
That is amazing. I love this.
And they're all
Geraldo can
working
come
from
in and
home.
look what's in the vault.
Exactly.
Maybe during the credits, we could take some quotes, some like key takeaways, and be like, Liz said this, and Anne said that, and Tammy thought this, so that they sit and wait for their name.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I like that. And I know there's a way we've done in like physically live, in-person meetings that if people are, doing social media, then that can be shown on the screen. There's obviously a risk with that, but it's like we're not creating a feed. We're just, showing the feed. I don't know quite how to do that, but I know it's possible.
Yeah, for sure. I think Jennifer can probably help us with that. That's great. All right, so we did about 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes, but this was so good. Pushed us into way more ideas. Keep using this link, keep putting more stuff in here, and we're gonna pull things out and bring them into the Slack channel and keep going. But what I would love to do now is just pop us back over to the Kiko page and show you who you all are. So let's scroll down and scroll over. So this is the team that we have so far. I think I have a few more to say yes to here to fill in. A few people haven't responded to me to whether or not they want to be a part of it. We've got each of the team leads here, and then I've got all the folks that are volunteering and where you are in your volunteer role. We can still move some stuff around based on where support is actually needed and where you feel like you're a good fit. So we can play with those. But I would love to have each of our leads go through what they are looking at right now for their role. If they have a tab in the project plan to review with us and talk about how you're going to manage it. I will start being friendly and asking for volunteers, and I'll let the extroverts volunteer, and then I'll start calling on the introverts.
Hey guys, it's Carrie. I think me and Des are probably going to go first because we had our team meeting today for content, and we're super excited to share some stuff. Does that work for you, Liz?
Heck yeah, bring it.
All right, let me see if I can share a screen here. This should be easy. I do this for like a living, but yet here we are. I digress. All righty, can everybody see? Oh, nope, Microsoft Word has stopped working. That is so my life. So today right now.
Full moon, right? Or was that
Desiree, do you have this document? I know it's in the Slack channel, guys.
I don't. I didn't pull it down.
It's in the Slack. Can you guys see my Slack?
I'm grabbing real quick. Is it
Gary asking, can you hear me? Makes me want to do a bingo of sorts throughout this whole thing of those common phrases that we've been making fun of for this whole thing.
Pivot, drink, pivot, drink.
So I actually have a video conference bingo that we use.
Perfect. You click a button and the first one to get bingo throughout all the sessions or something.
So Carrie, where is it in the Slack? I can pull it up.
I just pulled it up too. Can you not see it on my screen?
I'm not seeing a share.
Okay. Oh, because it failed. Total failure. Look at me. This is a great start, guys. All right.
Mercury in retrograde kind of day. There it goes.
Do it. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Where to begin? Desiree and I had a big conversation this morning about content and scheduling. And Des, I'm totally not going to step on your feet because you have a lot to say when it comes to scheduling. And we don't want to be restrictive. So I think we need to like frame this conversation with the fact that we want it to set a few, maybe like guidelines and some things into motion without being restrictive. But we were thinking about kind of timelines and, you know, how much time we have. We're exactly 5 weeks out today, everyone, by the way, in case you didn't know. And I know it's crazy. And thinking about, you know, the mural that we did and how we want it to capture everything into different streams. So take this for what it is. It doesn't include the hot crowdsourcing. It doesn't include like booths or the small group dialogue or, you know, the escape room or gaming or any of that. This is like truly content that we're trying to pull together into 7 different tracks, which make for 112 30-minute blocks, by the way. So lots and lots of content. We're, again, not restricting it to 30 minutes. We can definitely go down to 15 minutes if we're doing something like coaching. We can go up to an hour for like the deep dive topics. But I just wanted to throw these numbers and figures out at everybody while we're talking about all of this. So to the tracks that we were thinking of, and marketing, I need you to like throw your hands up because we realized today that we are not marketing marketers at all. And some of these titles really, really suck and we need your help. So
we're totally keeping the woo-woo room though. I think that's amazing.
The woo-woo room. Yeah. We love the woo-woo room and we love Shift Happens, but everything else we're like, we need some help. So track 1, Shift Happens. This is the space to talk about all things pivot. And I put drink afterwards because it's definitely going to be a drinking game if we can make it one, or bingo or something. But lessons from 2020, translatable skills to other business routes, you know, moving forward with innovation. This is kind of the space to talk about all of those things that are happening in the pivot. Track 2, the woo-woo room. This is the Zen den. This is the feel good space. If you need to take a break and you want to listen to guided meditation, this is your place. If you want the yoga or the Zumba, this is your place. We'll have, we already have experts on joy and positivity and being the best you and fulfilling your potential and desire mapping, kind of like queued up for this space. So I'm loving it. I hope you guys love the idea as well. Track 3, all things virtual, shitty ass name, sorry. But this has to be talked about, right? I think there are a ton of planners who, yeah, there are a lot of meetings about this, but I think they want to hear from us, from peers, from each other, talk to each other. So this is rooms where people can talk it out. This is, I love the idea of someone that's going live during the show. Like maybe if they'll let us in and show us a sneak peek of the behind the scenes while they're going live. Like I totally love that idea. And so much more from the planner view. This is not the demos from a bunch of different companies that do virtual. This is not what that is, just to clarify. But it is just all things virtual, planner to planner, or expert to planner, or live. We thought it would be a great way to take a look at that. Track 4, career coaching resumes. Again, terrible name. Help us here, please. But again, this is the spot for those looking for careers, for those that have made the pivot, for those that started their own consulting business in the middle of a hurricane, in the middle of COVID, after losing a job. This is resume reviews, conversations on how to elevate each other. I mean, there's a lot that we can do here that we're really excited about. Track 5, conversation corner. So again, this one's kind of open. We don't have our heads or hands or anything wrapped around this, but we thought this was a good space for the Zoom calls, the facilitated meetings, the guided calls without Zoom, coffee breaks together, hallway conversations together, mural conversations together, brainstorming. This is kind of like the open space for all things conversation outside of maybe listening to someone talk for 30 minutes or watching an on-demand session or watching a live demo. This is like the interactive piece. And then track 6 and 7, we left pretty wide open and pretty ambiguous, innovation station. And this is all the crazy stuff. This is innovation. This is the virtual improvs. This is the family feud. This is all the stuff like trying and failing together and what that looks like. And are we going to embarrass ourselves? Absolutely. But let's do it here. Let's do it together. Let's make space for it. Yeah. And so that all being said, that was a lot of info, but that was what Desiree and I came up with this morning. And we hope at least some of it sticks because we have a lofty goal of August 19th, 2 weeks from today, of booking most of these speakers in. And we definitely want to have, some framework to give to them because they won't commit to us unless we have some sort of framework and some guidance to give them, we're finding out. So 2 weeks, we're hoping to have a lot of it booked. 3 more weeks after that for marketing and to slot in really cool last minute stuff that's definitely going to come up.
So I absolutely love every single session here. Do you have a sense of which ones would be on demand versus live?
We're thinking just a total mix of all of the above.
Okay.
Yeah. So some live sessions, some deep dives, some, coaching, a little bit of everything. We don't want all of them to be like shift happens. We don't want everything to be on demand. We want live, we want conversation, we want a little bit of everything. So that's what we're envisioning right now. And again, I hate to put perimeters on everyone because it's so cool what we're talking about, but we're hoping for Des and I are going to be the people that put a little bit of structure on things.
Awesome.
Hey, Carrie. Carrie, I have a quick question. This is Kate. I'm one of the session administrators. Do you envision that it'll be your team that decides what format or platform each session is on, or will a speaker get to choose?
We discussed having both, have it be a little bit of both. If a speaker is really good on video and they would rather do their session in video, then that's an option that we're discussing with them. And then there's some people who just kick ass live, and we want people to shine in what they're already good at, not tell people what they have. We don't want them to fit into our format. We want to kind of work with them in making their format work with what we're looking to achieve.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we'll just need to stay close to how this is unfolding. So for the session administrators and facilitators, we'll have to make sure we have an understanding of all the different formats.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Once the agenda or the schedule is a little bit more fine-tuned and we have a better idea of how many speakers or how many on demand, that kind of thing, then we'll regroup, and make sure that you're part of that loop and you can kind of, start massaging it the way that you need work on your end.
This is
Perfect.
awesome. Are we taking like a call for people that want to contribute, or are we just doing outbound? I'm thinking of this person.
We discussed that. A little bit of both, but mostly outbound. So Carrie actually pointed out that we don't have a lot of time to do a whole call for speaker, weed it out type of thing. So we thought if we skip that step and utilize everybody in this group and the experts and speakers that they know, I think it would have a better flow because you're bringing people to us that you already know, like, and trust. Of course, if somebody sees this and says, hey, are you accepting speakers? Absolutely. We wouldn't tell them, no, we've got everybody picked, but I see this being mostly, let's skip the step of a call for speakers and let's reach into our goodie bag and see who we can make the magic with.
I love it. Other thoughts?
And, sorry, Kate, again, I have another question. I shouldn't have said sorry. I didn't say sorry. I have another question.
Girl, stop apologizing.
Are we potentially paying any speakers, or we're looking for just volunteer presenters?
Yeah, I'm not paying anyone that I've asked.
This is a non-paying gig.
On the other hand, I think that
$3.99.
as we go into the partner community conversation, if there are speakers that, you know, that a partner might want to sponsor to bring in, I'm not opposed to that.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. We're calling some pretty big favors in here, and luckily we're close to some awesome, especially Gail. Gail, where are you? I'm going to tap into you too. You worked on education for Association for Women in Events, so I know you know a lot of great speakers. But we're calling all the favors out right now, and
then I think we do
great response.
We want to make sure we're providing value to those people that are volunteering their time to be part of this experience. And so one of the Slack conversations we've been having is, I know Liz Connors had suggested like we do a yearbook for the people that are joining. What if it's that speaker, presenter, subject matter expert, partner, community partner yearbook, so that you can find all of these people afterwards as resources and reach out to them. And so that's how we're able to support them.
Yeah, and I think that'll definitely be communication afterwards as well, that we can keep the conversation going, whether it's via email or videos, or, you know, we keep the Kiko room open, that kind of thing. I think that's how we continue the conversation afterwards, is maybe that's also a space that the speakers can continue participating in conversation. So everybody has access to who was a presenter, and they have the opportunity to flip through the digital yearbook and sort of take away after the event.
Fantastic.
Is anybody here familiar with BC Stack?
No.
I'm going to get the gist of it. I'm going to explain only the gist, but not the details. BC Stack is a conglomeration of some years it's 50 contributors and some years it's 150 contributors who have a product or service or a set of checklists that help bloggers or, you know, YouTube personalities or speakers who want to, you know, monetize their speaking, or authors, anybody kind of in a creative role. BC Stack combines all of these people, and they sell access to their platforms for a stupid low number. So it's like $47 to get access to all of this content, and you can download it and have it forever, right? Whereas it would probably be thousands and thousands of dollars if you did it all to, you know, individually. So one of the things that happens though is when someone buys into BC Stack, each of the people who, you know, have the product get your email address. So then you now become a lead, right? For more of their products that you pay full price for. So maybe that's something that we can dangle in front of the speaker. So if they have if you know, they can get access to our attendee list, and our attendees just kind of know that's part of the shtick.
Yeah.
So that Liz, go on. I'm sorry.
No, go on, Gail.
Okay. No, just one thing that I have to say is when just working with associations and speakers, we don't always pay. I mean, for the larger associations like MPI and PCMA, we do often a stipend. However, for the smaller committees that I sit on, they've always asked for free. And one thing I say not to give the attendee list away is because then it kind of looks a little bit poorly on us as a committee. And that's just my experience, because then they get spammed. And there's a lot of people who don't need a speaker for, whatever reason. Like I'm finding my clients are finance and engineering. I don't need, a certain type of speaker, and that usually falls into it.
But what I love the idea of is if the speaker has content, whether it's an infographic, a white paper, a download, a case study, then we gate the speaker content for them to simply opt into that content. And then the speaker's getting a direct lead that they can follow up on. So it's not the whole attendee list.
Well, and part of what I think this conversation is for brainstorming, and we just went through, 25 minutes of brainstorming. So this is just my brainstorming. Is it isn't necessarily that you might not have a need for a finance, speaker information, but you might have attended the yoga session, and maybe more information about yoga moves would be welcome in your inbox. So just something, adding that to the list of something other people are doing successfully.
That's what I think is interesting. Of all the virtual events that I've been to and the sessions I've sat in on, there was no way for me to opt in to more information from each speaker or from each session, or to continue that. One ran an event where they had Slack going on the side, and I thought that was awesome, but then I think it kind of died, or at least I stopped going into it. So I like the ability to kind of click and say, yes, I opt into this one's continuing yoga information or whatever. I don't know how to logistically execute it, but we don't have to figure that out today.
Well, I think that's where the yearbook comes into play, because if I'm in a yoga session and I want to learn more about Mary's yoga classes, I'm going to go thumb through the yearbook, look for Mary, and I'm going to opt into her mailing list.
I love that, because it's a digital yearbook. You're right. So right there, you have your call to action. Like, click here to get more from Mary.
Yep.
Right.
Great.
There's also speakers who have their own system. I've been in sessions where they've said, click on this link and I'll send you information. And so you have to opt in. That's the only way.
Right.
Yeah. Just go with their funnel directly to whatever they've got set up.
Yeah.
And we need all that with GDPR and the new California Protection Act.
Yeah. Good point. Amazing. Okay. Well, I know that tomorrow we have a marketing conversation with a bunch of us going through content calendar and trying to figure out how we're going to roll out a little bit of some branding and some consistent messaging. And we're going to come back to everyone on how you can support the overall marketing of that. But for today, the other thing that I want to make sure we touch on is which work stream did I have pulled up here? Let's talk about community partner manager conversations. What kind of people should we be reaching out to? What do we want to give away? We've just decided we're not giving away the attendee list to everyone as an Excel file. So where are our boundaries? Are we giving away any content to paid community partners, or is content off limits as well, and it has to be something more experiential?
Well, I think, and this is maybe just a question in general, so how much do we want to align this with our current HD kind of way, right? Like that thing, like for example, at our events, we give the whole contact list with the context of, this is not an opt-in list. We have a code of conduct, and we've always been successful for almost 4 years now, because that's part of who we are and everything like that. So as far as, and then with HD, we have this steal this mentality, take everything but our name. So like how closely is I think it's important for everybody is we need to decide, like, even maybe in just the marketing, how HD is this? Does that need to filter, or is this separate? Like, what do you?
Well, I think that goes back to our conversation from Monday, when we spent a lot of time talking about raising the bar industry wide. So the more information we share, the more information that we freely share the recipe for the secret sauce, the better the secret sauce is going to be at the end of the day. So, and nobody's going to make your secret sauce exactly the way you make your secret sauce. But if somebody can realize, oh, I should have had sugar. Yeah, that makes everybody's secret sauce better. So
I think that would even be powerful in marketing, right? Is to say we are literally keeping nothing to ourselves, like, and we're all or nothing. Everything here is whatever, but still finding a way where there's enough incentive to be like, yeah, we're giving away, but it's maybe they're not videos, maybe it's something else, maybe it's the readout. So then why would I come to the event as opposed to wait for it after? So I think finding the balance there, but I think big, bold statements, I think that, we're really looking to come out and just do a cannonball when everybody's wearing nice clothes standing around the edge of the pool. So, thinking through those big statements and things that are crazy and breaking things and in pushing those boundaries, I feel like matches and it is important. And if we come out another way, it's going to feel off and everybody's going to say like, wait, I don't understand how that aligned. How does this fit in?
Yeah, and if your company is going to be sort of the overarching sponsor or organizer of this, people are expecting a certain lifestyle, a certain way. You're always kind of out there, and so I think we need to be free.
Crazy ideas, low rent, everyone's involved.
Exactly, but the point is, if we have no PowerPoint, there's really not that much content unless we're doing videos or other things. So what are we sharing? And I think the community is what we want to share. And that ability for people to network and spend time together.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I heard an answer to the partner part. How do we incorporate them?
So one of the conversations that I had today from a sponsor or corporate partnership perspective is, if an organization or a company is going to give us a product or service, in this case, it was actually the closed caption, continuing on the closed caption conversation. So ironically, immediately after we had that conversation in Slack, a closed caption company called me about another project I'm doing. And I said, hey, let's talk about this other project. Would you be interested in sponsoring? And, one of the things that is a selling feature, I think, for us is the ability to get them in front of the attendees as a speaker or as part of a panel. So I think that should be part of the offer.
Okay, I love it. So on the tracks and then on the partner conversation, let's throw some deadlines out here. So I personally love the tracks that we've come up with. I like that I see secret sauce being brought up as maybe a track name somehow. Let's just finalize out on that. Anybody give me any objections to the track? If you could click on your participants button on your toolbar, and then you have some options to do yes, no, go slower, go faster. Do a yes or no if you're good with the 7 tracks. Fantastic. So green light on the tracks. And then Carrie and Desiree, let us know which ones specifically you think we need to rename, and we can touch on those tomorrow in the marketing group if we need to. And then for the partner conversations, Erica, how do you want to proceed with how we can support, or if you want to have a framework for the types of partners you want to look for that we can then all tap our networks for?
Well, and I think, yes, what I'd love to do is have another conversation now that we kind of have more idea about what it is more of an idea of what it is we're actually producing, and where maybe some gaps or some financial need could be.
Yep.
I think that helps create the road.
Okay.
So I'll have a better answer next week.
Yeah, I think that's great. So I would say my next steps for everyone is use that project plan. You should all have edit access to the Google Doc. If you don't, let me know, just send one of those little requests. And then each of the team leads, let me just reshare who our leads are. If the leads will create a tab for themselves and what they're working on here. And then those of you that are volunteers, again, you should have access here to move this. If you feel like you need to shift to a different group. So I know Gail, you wanted to shift up and see if you could support the content team here. So I'm just gonna move you up there. Let's move it around. But I think one of the big things we need to do is for each of you that are creating your own tab, list out volunteer roles that you're going to need and how the volunteer team can actually support you. So the session administrators, there's, the fear that maybe they're not even going to be needed until the event actually happens. But I think there's a lot of pre-work to be done, which is determining how we're going to run the session. What does the facilitation style look like maybe? And bringing all of those conversations together. Thoughts? Sound good?
Are we able to join more than one as volunteer?
Absolutely. Yes, wherever you think there's value. So I would say by Monday's meeting, if the staff can have your tab created with the volunteer roles that you think you're going to need, let's review those. And then volunteer team, we're going to keep going on Slack. Obviously, you'll be able to watch Monday's meeting on YouTube if you want, and then we'll keep the conversations active so that we're moving forward. The biggest thing I want us to have by Monday are official deadlines for all of the things we need to have happen. So we are going to have the little side Tiger team meetings now between now and Monday, like marketing tomorrow, any others that need to happen. You guys just coordinate and you can set them up in the Slack channel. You can set them up wherever you need. Use Kiko if you need to. How you feeling? Still a little fuzzy on everything, right? It's not solid yet. It's still an amorphous blob.
Are you guys having fun?
We're molding the clay.
You look scared. I'm nervous because you look scared. Okay. Woo!
Hey, I have already been walked off the ledge once, so if anyone needs the favor returned, call me.
I mean, I like to cannonball off the edge, so.
I know. It's a
I think
lot.
fuzzy describes it best.
Yeah. Yeah, just imagine we have our big blob of Play-Doh and now we're starting to actually shape it into something. So I think by next Monday, we're going to have a pretty solid idea of what object we're trying to mold. And then we'll be able to actually build the darn thing.
Awesome.
Very good. Well, you guys are amazing. I can't thank you enough for being part of this. We're going to see you all in Slack and in the project plan and in Kiko, and then see you back again on Monday, if not before.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Here's my part where I need like out music or something, because it's, of course we're live on YouTube, so I can't really share music.
You could at the very end until it kicks you off.
Bye guys.
So what?
Thanks for joining.